I don't know how many of you are fans of Johnny Cash, but boy, I sure am. And today, my granny gave me this book about Johnny Cash that I want to talk about. I'm going to do a video one of these days about my granny because she is just one of the most outstanding humans ever. And what a wonderful coincidence for me that she happens to be my granny. But she's great and a wonderful person, wonderful compassionate, loving, open-minded person. And you know, when I was a little boy, Granny always told me, be a lover, not a fighter. And in the years that followed, she was nice enough to help me pay my child support. But anyway, she got me this book today. It's a new book. It's by John Carter Cash, Johnny Cash's son. And it's called House of Cash. And it's a coffee table book. It's, you know, that's how thick it is and that's how big it is. And it's sort of part memoir, part biography, sort of John Carter Cash's reminiscences about his father. But the best part of the book, and the reason why I highly recommend it to anyone who is a Johnny Cash fan who hasn't seen it yet, is it's kind of like the book that came out a few years ago about Bob Dylan, and I think there was one also about the Beatles, and it's becoming a more common type of book, coffee table book lately. Is it has all of these really realistic, full color facsimiles, reproductions of documents, and there's some really wonderful, fascinating things in here if you're a Johnny Cash fan. Like there's a copy of his high school diploma. It's kind of like a scrapbook, but with fake stuff, just reproductions for the scrap. But that was a copy of his high school diploma, and some really interesting stuff just from throughout his life. He wrote a lot. I didn't realize how much Johnny Cash wrote. He would write letters and keep journals and, you know, write down his thoughts. And he was a great writer. I don't think that part of Johnny Cash is quite as appreciated as it might be. I mean, he's in the Songwriters Hall of Fame, but we think of his voice and his presence. But he was a great writer, and you can tell even in some of these early things from before he became a musician, before he became a star, that he just had a great voice as a writer. Anyway, if you're a Johnny Cash fan, I can't recommend the book highly enough. It has, and in addition to the documents that are reproduced, it has just hundreds of color pictures and black and white pictures as well from all throughout his career. Just some amazing photographs of Cash, most of which I have never seen before. I don't think they've been publicly released before. And just Cash was a really interesting guy and just a genius musician, and just a really fascinating, wonderful guy, and admirable in a lot of ways. And there's one part here that I do want to read to you. I'm not going to read. I could read from it all day because the Cash stuff, the stuff that's in Cash's own words, is just remarkable. But I am going to read one thing, and it's a 2-page letter that Cash wrote to his brother when he was in the Air Force, I think in 1950. This would be, it's dated December 10th, and I believe this would be December 10th, 1950. And again, it's reproduced as Cash wrote it in his own hand, and written in pencil on Air Force base stationery. And it's to his brother, his brother Roy. And it says, "Dear brother, since it came a blizzard and I can't go out, I thought I might answer your letter that you wrote the other day, November 2nd. And it did come a blizzard. I never saw anything like it in my life. I was on my way back from the PX this afternoon, minding my own business, and this big black cloud came up, like it was going to come one of them Arkansas rains. But the sleet and snow hit all at once, and I almost lost my way before I got back. It's sure a cold blue one right off the North Sea. 17 degrees is predicted for tonight and colder tomorrow." And when he writes 17, he starts it with the number 7 instead of an S. I just find that fascinating. "Right now I'm on a 3-day pass, but I think I'll wait till tomorrow to go anywhere due to the weather. I'm going down to Garmisch in the Alps and see if I can't break my neck on a pair of skis. Things are pretty cheap down there, so I hear, and plenty of free-hearted little people. Thursday I went before the promotion board, and I think I'll know tomorrow whether I made it or not. If I know the Air Force, I didn't. They like to see a man sweat, then give it to him the next month. The black market has gone to the dogs over here. I can only get a little over double my money for cigarettes and coffee. When I first got here, I could get about 16 marks for cigs, and now they've gone down to about 13 or 14. Well, this is a good night for lots of things, and I don't have a choice, so I'm going to hit the sack. Tell the wife and kids I said hello, and Merry Christmas to all of you. Love, brother, J.R. And I love the language that he uses there, and I love, it reminds me a lot of things that my grandfather wrote when he was a younger man. There's a simplicity to it, and you can tell that he doesn't have a great deal of education, but that he does have a great deal of intelligence, and he's able to express himself in a very simple but a very eloquent way. And I love that he spells 17 with the numeral 7 as the first letter. And I love the fact that this is a Christmas letter. Essentially, like, he's writing to his brother. It's December 10th. He's probably not going to write to him again before the actual holiday. This is his Christmas letter home from the Air Force. It's just a wonderful letter, and it's just an example of this great book. And I just got it today, and I'm thrilled with it. And if you're a Johnny Cash fan and you see it somewhere, its cover price is $40. I don't know how much Granny paid for it because she's too classy to tell me how much she paid for it. But it's worth the $40 if that's what you end up having to pay for it. It's a really great book. House of Cash, The Legacies of My Father, Johnny Cash, by John Carter Cash. If you're a Johnny Cash fan, you should pick it up.